Ladies and gentlemen, fellow financiers, and curious onlookers, today we dive deep into the thrilling world of hedge funds as chronicled in Sebastian Malaby's masterwork, More Money Than God, Hedge Funds and the Making of a New Elite. Now let's gear up for a cognitive joyride as we unfurl 10 witty yet profoundly insightful takeaways from this financial saga. 1. The alchemists of modern finance. Hedge funds, the titanic forces in our tale, aren't simply investment funds, they are the alchemists of modern finance. These enigmatic entities strive to turn the leaden assets of the world into golden riches. Their creators, the hedge fund managers, are the wizards wielding their wands of algorithms, derivatives, and sheer chutzpah. In More Money Than God, we learn that hedge funds were once the underdogs, the David to Wall Street's Goliath. But were they fated to conquer their behemoth counterparts, or did they create a monster in the process? Ponder this question, my friends. 2. Origin story. Before hedge funds became the behemoths synonymous with opulence and global economic influence, they were just a glimmer in the eye of a journalist named Alfred Winslow Jones. In 1949, Jones concocted the recipe for the first hedged fund, coining a strategy known as long-short equity to buffer against market turbulence. It was less about predicting the future and more about a financial seatbelt, playing both sides to cushion a potential crash. How's that for a superhero introduction? 3. Rise of the swashbuckling traders. Our financial odyssey has heroes and anti-heroes, but few as charismatic as the swashbuckling traders of the hedge fund world. Men like George Soros, who famously broke the Bank of England, and Julian Robertson, the sage of tiger management, lunged and parried across the markets. Their weapon of choice? Other people's money, leveraged to the hilt, attacking weak currencies or ailing companies with the precision of a surgeon, or should we say the ruthlessness of a pirate. 4. The Big Short before the Big Short, More Money Than God, reveals tales of financial daring that predate Michael Lewis's chronicles of the 2008 crisis. There were short sellers who sniffed out corporate decay like truffle pigs long before subprime mortgages became the stench in the room. They were the mavens of market mayhem, placing their bets not on the unicorns frolicking in meadows of eternal growth, but on the lame horses headed for the glue factory. It makes you wonder if cynicism could be a form of clairvoyance. 5. Culture beats strategy. Flowing beneath the algorithmic currents and balance sheet bravado, More Money Than God subtly underscores that culture eats strategy for breakfast, and hedge funds dine like kings. Whether it's Renaissance technologies with their PhDs and code-crunching fortitude, Soros and his philosophical reflexivity, or Dalio's principle-heavy Bridgewater associates, they all know one thing. In the high-stakes kitchen of finance, culture is the chef that spices their strategic stew. It assures that team members row in unison, even when navigating through financial maelstroms. 6. Philanthropy and the new elite. Our economically endowed protagonists are not just about proliferating their profits. Once they've scaled the peaks of affluence, they often gaze down from their financial Mount Olympus and remember the mere mortals below. More Money Than God shows that these new elites have a philosopher king streak, doling out their ducats to universities, medical research, and various pet causes. It shows that the weight of all that money may just broaden the soul as much as it fattens the wallet. Who knew that hedge funds could be less Scrooge and more Carnegie? 7. Crisis? What crisis? Hedge funds have a knack for crisis management that would make a bomb defusal expert look like a nervous trainee, or at least that's what we can infer from their track record. The long-term capital management, LTCM debacle of 1998 sets the stage in our story, providing a nail-biting narrative of hubris, high stakes, and one hair-raising bailout. But here's the rub. When banks gasped for air in 2008, several hedge funds took deep, meditative breaths and surmised correctly that disruption begets opportunity. It's finance's version of being calm and carrying on with other people's debts. 8. The regulatory tango. If you're thinking managing a hedge fund is like a freewheeling dance through piles of cash without a care in the world, think again. Our novelistic nonfiction dives into the intricate pas de deux between hedge funds and regulators. The former flaunt their fiscal footwork, skillfully sidestepping traditional investment rules, while the latter fret, frown, and often fail to keep pace. The interplay is less about stepping on toes and more about who gets to lead in this global ballroom. Each financial crisis is a new song, requiring a different choreography of control and freedom. 9 Bubbleology 101. The history of hedge funds is inseparable from the history of bubbles. These wily operators have both inflated bubbles with exuberant gusto and pricked them with a bearish sneer. More Money Than God is an exploratory dive into the art of bubbleology, teaching us that recognizing a bubble isn't just about economic signs, it's about understanding mass psychology. When greed inflates and fear deflates, the hedge fund maestros are there with a pin or a pump, because in their world it's all about timing. 10. The future's so bright, do you wear shades? Finally, as More Money Than God concludes, we're compelled to consider the crystal ball of hedge funds. With artificial intelligence and algorithmic trading on the rise, the future of these financial titans seems more potent than ever. Automation and big data analytics are the new crystal balls, peering into the murky waters of market movements. But will these tools sharpen the hedge funds' prescience or simply amplify their hubris? And will the wizards of Wall Street evolve or be extinguished by their own magic? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure: the financial markets will never be bereft of sorcery. In closing, my friends, More Money Than God is not just a chronicle. It's an epochal testimony to the audacity, creativity, and folly of finance's finest. It offers us a lens through which to examine the tectonic shifts of wealth and power and the human narratives intertwined. Whether you revere them, revile them, or simply revel in their stories, there's no denying that hedge funds and their masters have left an indelible mark on the historical ledger of human enterprise. As you stroll back to your own financial endeavors, portfolios, or piggy banks, remember the witticisms and wisdoms from this account of high-stakes hedge fund history. May your risks be calculated, your strategies sound, and your fortunes favor the bold. Now go forth and conjure your destinies, wizards of the monetary realm.